In this episode, we will reveal all the original story of the creation of the Greek gods and cosmology, as well as the fierce battle between Uranus and his son Cronus, that later gave birth to a very famous and beautiful goddess. Welcome to the Voices from History. In the beginning, there was only chaos, the abyss. And from chaos came broad-breasted Gaia, the earth. She would be the secure seat forever of all the immortals who occupy the snowy peak of the Olympus. Then the misty Tartarus came in a remote and underground recess of the broader path Earth. And after it came Eros, the most handsome of all the immortal gods, the dissolver of bodies and master of men's minds. In fact, he is the one that subdues their wills. And then, from the abyss, were born Erebos and Dark Night. And Night, pregnant after sweet intercourse with Erebos itself, gave birth to both Ether and Day. Next, Gaia too conceived and gave birth to someone like herself, equal to her in stature and a firm foundation for the blessed gods. From Earth was born majestic Uranus, the starry heaven. Then Gaia gave birth to the long mountains, rugged and haunted by the nymphs who dwell in the deep valleys of the hills. She also gave birth to the barren, raging sea, without any sexual love. However, later, Earth would sleep with Uranus, and would give birth to Oceanus, with its deep currents. But this did not end up here. From the union of Earth with Uranus were born Chios and Krios and Hyperion, and Iapetus, Theia and Rhea, Themis and Mnemosyne, and gold-crowned Phoebe and lovely Thetis. After all of them was born her youngest child, Cronus, the wily and most terrible of her children, who deeply loathed his lusty father, Uranus. Also from them came the Cyclopes, with proud and stoned hearts. Their names were Brontes, Steropes, and ponderous Argis, who gave Zeus the thunder and forged his thunderbolt. These Cyclopes were just like the gods, but had the surname of Circle Eyes because of this one circular eye that lay right on their forehead. Their works included strength and force. And again, there were born out of Gaia and Uranus 3 more strong and hulking sons, needless of description. They were Kotos, Briareus, and Gyges. 100 arms sprang from their shoulders, and 50 heads grew from the shoulders of each of them upon their bodies. Their mighty forms showed boundless and irresistible strength. They were Gaia's most dreaded offspring, and their father, Uranus, loathed and feared them from the beginning. As soon as they were all born, Uranus hid them in a dark cave deep within the earth, not allowing them to see even a sliver of light. And Uranus took pleasure and delight in this wicked deed of his. His wife, Gaia, the earth, pressed tightly inside, groaned upon seeing her children treated in such a terrible way. So Gaia came up with a plan, a truly wicked trick. Without delay, she created a new mineral, the grey flint, and from it formed a huge sickle, which she showed to her dear sons. Then Gaia encouraged their offspring in the following way.
Children of mine and of an evil father, I wonder whether you can obey me or not, because if you are able to do it, you will get your revenge from your sick and cruel father. After all, he began this by his ugly and pestilent behavior.
They were all tongue-tied with fear when they heard this. But Cronus, whose mind worked in strange ways, got his pluck up and found the words to answer his mother.
Mother, I would undertake any task in order to subdue our father's power. I am not afraid of that wicked man who does not deserve his own name. And after all, as you've said, he was the one that began this by his ugly and pestilent behavior.
This response warmed the heart of vast Earth. She then hid young Cronus in an ambush and placed in his hands the jagged sickle. Then she went on to explain the whole stratagem to him. So, when great Uranus came, bringing the night and desirous of love, he spreaded himself over Earth, trying to make intercourse with her. As soon as he arrived, his son, Cronus, reached out from his dark hiding place with his left hand, and with his right one, took the huge sickle and swung the sharp, long and jagged knife, pruning the genitals of his own father. Then Cronus cast his father's genitals far away, while every drop of blood that fell from them was received by Gaia, who, by allowing the seasons to pass, was able to give birth to the powerful Furies. But beyond the Furies, she also gave birth to the great giants in gleaming armor, with long spears in their hands, and the beautiful nymphs, whom they call the Milii. The genitalia themselves, freshly cut with flint, were thrown clear of the mainland into the restless, white-capped sea, where they floated for a long time. A white foam formed from the flesh of the gods, and in that foam a young woman began to take shape and grow. She first came close to the land near sacred Cythera, and then drifted onward to the island of Cyprus. There she stepped onto the shore, a radiant and lovely goddess. The soft and green grass blossomed beneath her graceful feet. The gods and men call her Aphrodite, because she came from foam. Both the god Eros and Desire joined her and accompanied her from her birth until she joined the great family of the gods of Olympus. And from that moment on, among gods and people, she brought the sacred powers of love, the shy words of courtship, the giggly smiles and flirtation, and all the tender joys of sexual desire. And then, sweet Aphrodite emerged, coming from the great conflict between Uranus and Cronus.